Customers in the trade. When you go to somebody's house, you want to be in and out. Oftentimes, they'll try to ask you questions relating to a given problem, just trying to dig for information, really. My best advice on that from experience is to give them honest advice, but not too much free information. Because if you give them too much free information, that gives them an understanding. And with an understanding, it opens their mind. They think they can possibly do it themselves. That's okay for small things, but for the bigger things, things that you could get hurt on the job, such as messing with gas pipes and things like that, you really want to leave that to a professional. I know they charge a lot of money, but it's not a like a cashier job where anybody can do it. It's supposed to be a skilled trade uh, that people go to school for years. Apprenticeships typically 4 years long before you can take your test to become a journeyman, and then eventually your plumber's license, and then eventually your master's plumber's license. They'll try to get opposing opinions if there's two people. The obvious guy that's been there for a while, he knows how to deal with the customers, and they know that. So if they have a helper or an apprentice with you, when you're not around, they might ask your apprentice or your helper what his opinion is or what he thinks. And he might be a little too honest because he doesn't deal with these customers all the time. You don't want to make yourselves look bad. You don't want to make the other guy look bad that you're working with, and vice versa. So the best thing to do is just to be um, honest about the job that has to be done. A lot of times, customers will become very agitated if their drain gets clogged and you come in there with a little snake and it takes you maybe 15 minutes with a little hand snake to unclog their drain. And then you charge them close to $500. Typically, they're not going to like that. But, you know, you figure all the expenses are broken down into the company, the overhead of the company, the taxes that the company might have to pay, the benefits that the company has to pay to each employee, any workers' comp, any lawsuits, any liabilities whatsoever on a large scale. There's a lot going behind the scenes besides that amount. So there's a lot of different things. It may seem like it's a big number in the beginning, but when you break down the expense of a business, it makes sense why those numbers are what they are. Now, in theory, they say for 500 employees or more, they're not going to charge that company as much tax. Basically, it might be next to no tax at all. So there is that, but it's a risk. You know, business overall is a risk. So the best way to deal with customers is to go in there. If you're working with a guy, don't make the other guy look bad. Don't make him look like an idiot. Don't make the customer feel like they're an idiot. It's really a situation that you have to feel out. Like after you're done a job, you want to take pictures before and after your completed work. So that way, if there's any problems, or they say there's a leak or the job wasn't up to specs or whatever, um, you have documentation, you have evidence, and if you feel as though the customer is one of those people who is pretty much agitated about the price and they would like to get some of their money back, because the more you charge them, the more they're going to, basically be watching you over your shoulder, trying to find any wiggle room to get up out of it. You're going to have to create waivers for them to sign if you're doing drain cleaning. Uh, Basically, letting them know everything up front before you even start the job, how much it's going to be, so there's no surprises. You're going to have to let them know how long, approximately it should take. You're going to have to create waivers that if their pipes are broken because they're old terracotta pipes or clay pipes outside, that they're not going to be covered. There's a lot that goes into it, and you basically have to have your ass covered. You have to basically make sure that nothing's going to come back on you, because customers can be vicious. They can be real polite to your face and whatnot. Um, Even if you're getting a certain percentage of that overall job, at the end of the day, it's coming out of the customer's pockets. So be professional, be courteous, um, be cautious. And if you feel as though they might try to screw you somehow or make something up and say that you touched this or you broke that and you really didn't touch it at all, that's when it's important to take a picture before and after, take notes, make sure there's no kids around your work area. Never leave the power tools plugged in. Be respectful of the home. Clean it up real nice. Even if they say, oh, no, I got that. I can clean that up. Like, no, just leave it the way it was when you found it. Really, you should leave it better, looking better and cleaner than the way you found it to begin with. But at the very least, at least leave it the way it was when you first got there, as far as the cleanliness goes. Because all you need is for them to take a picture and say, hey, look at this mess. You didn't clean it up. And then it's a complaint on you. And you don't need that. You don't need complaints of any kind. Growing up, if my mom had given me any good advice, it was the fact that she told me, school teachers and whatnot, back in high school and middle school, she said, never give them a reason to complain about it. Never give them that reason. So it's good advice. It applies to everything in life, even in adult life. And I still follow that today. So just go in there, be real simple. Just tell them what the problem is. Take notes, take pictures before and after. Show the customer, say, hey, any way you have to word it. You don't want to make it sound like the customer doesn't know what they're talking about or make them feel stupid or incompetent in any kind of way. You just want to say, hey, would you like to come take a look? This is the work that we performed for you guys today. I just wanted you to take a look at it, make sure that you're satisfied with the work that was done today before you sign off on this invoice. And they take a look at it and they say no leaks and things like that. Okay, cool. So now you get a signature on the invoice, which is a legal document that covers your ass. So you want to be covered by a license. You want to pull permits when you have to. There's a code book that you can use online. It's a 2018 National Code Book for plumbers. It's free. It's a PDF ebook online. If you want to order one, it's like $108 or something like that on Amazon. It's a reference. It's a reference book. There's some math in it when you have inspectors and things like that coming out, or somebody's trying to sell a house. Even if you're working under somebody else's license, you should still look good for it yourself and see that the plumbing that you're performing there under somebody else's license is actually to code. Because you don't want to get anybody else in trouble. You don't want to have a callback. You don't want to do any of that. Mistakes happen, things happen. But you just want to be in and out. Just walk in, discuss the pricing to begin with, so they know what the price is in the beginning. Um, Cleanliness, and that's basically it. I mean, it's a lot of common sense stuff. So just be careful around them, though, because some of them will try to accuse you of things that you didn't touch, that you had nothing to do with, just to try to get some money out of something, maybe sue you for whatever. Um, but as long as you have everything that's been required, everything that's required legally, like I said, permits, license, insurance, um, and that's about it. Just make sure there's no kids around your work area, shit like that. So that's about it. Don't give them too much information. My best advice: don't give them too much information. And if they're standing right over there, over you, trying to watch you, and something you're doing is real basic, or they offer to help you up the steps with a cable that weighs almost 300 pounds, um, don't do it. Don't let them help you bring that upstairs, because it could fall on them, it could kill them, it could disable them, and some of them might even try to do it on purpose. Uh, don't trust anybody out there. When you leave to go to Home Depot, don't leave your tools and stuff like that at the house. That's foolish. Somebody might plug something in. Somebody might take off with your tools. That's a theft. But when it comes down to someone being hurt on the job because you were irresponsible, left your stuff there, you got to look out for that, because things do happen. They do, and you don't want to learn firsthand that things happen from experience firsthand. You want to learn from common sense, because I'm sure it's happened to somebody. That's why we have laws, and you just gotta have common sense, and you gotta make sure your ass is covered. Don't try to be these people's friends. Just tell them how it is. You're not there to tell them your whole life story. You're just there to do the job and to move on. So that's my best advice. If you implement it in your life. Thanks.